Good morning, everybody, and Happy New Week. I know last week was abbreviated because I started hiking on Tuesday to Saturday, but I'm sticking to the, Sunday to Saturday weekly schedule for obvious reasons. That's a standard week. Anyway, it's a new day and a new week. The shelter was packed last night, people trying to get out of the rain. The forecast is similar for today, although the rain is supposed to come later. So I hope to get to my destination, which is actually a hostel, before the skies open up. I'm having as part of my part of my breakfast, one of the apples that I picked yesterday. Always great to have fresh fruit on the trail because it usually doesn't happen. So, as always, if there are any sights to see, I will show them to you. It's not shrouded in mist today as it was yesterday morning, so maybe, just maybe, there will be something to see. But whatever, new day and a new week begin. Let me show you a little bit of the trail. This is the easy part, but it does get tougher. But while it's easy, I do enjoy it. A new day begins. Now this is what I'm talking about. No sights like this yesterday. Shenandoah Valley. The only creature going up this hill slower than me. So you have Skyline Drive, a pull-in area, and a scenic overlook. This is the Hogback Overlook. So if you were driving on Skyline Drive, you could pull over and catch the views. Hello there. Now this is some green tunnel. Hello everybody, I'm at the Open Arms Hostel in Luray, Virginia, the same place where the Luray Caverns are. It is raining. It did not rain most of the day. The forecast was for rain later in the day. So I was able to hike 14 miles, dry, well, still sweat soaked, but I'm here for the hostel overnight. It's not a zero, but I did what I usually do when I stay in a hostel. Obviously get a shower myself, launder my clothes. After 6 days of hiking, basically wearing the same stuff, it's nice to get those things taken care of. I'll be back on trail tomorrow, and I still have quite a bit of ways to go in the Shenandoahs. So that's it for today, and I'll see you tomorrow. Good morning, everybody. I just got dropped off from my one-night hostel stay. My clothes are clean, although that won't last long, but that's such a joy. It's truly simple things in life. Clean clothes. No rain in the forecast today. Cool and crisp this morning. Perfect hiking weather. High's supposed to be in the 70s. A new day begins. To give you one difference anyway between hiking here in the Shenandoahs and say pretty much anywhere in New England, I'm above 3,400 feet. And when I got dropped off today, it was basically 1.9 miles up. And now, of course, the trail is beginning to go down, but 1.9 miles up. But it was a gradual up. Now that's the Shenandoahs. I'm sure there's going to be harder sections ahead. But in New England, that 1.9 miles probably would have involved hand over hand boulder scrambling or some extremely steep climbs. I'm slow at climbs no matter what, but it was 1.9 miles of a very gradual climb. So, not bad. Pretty nice. Probably the best view so far from the south. You can see Skyline Drive down there. The trail goes right by the stable here in Shenandoah, which is very cool. Very appropriately, horse trail. The horse trail goes that way. The Appalachian Trail goes that way. This is Rock Spring Cabin. It is not where I'm staying. The shelter is up that way. But this is a cabin you can rent. Yes, it is primitive, but I mean, that's the whole idea of being out here. It's got its own bear box, which is pretty cool. That is the view. It probably isn't coming through very well on my phone, but that would be the view out your front door. This is actually pretty cool. mean, I've seen several cabins like this at different areas around the AT. I've actually never seen anyone that was renting them, but you can do that. It would be very cool, particularly to wake up, maybe have your breakfast, a picnic table, and stare out into the distance. Be very, very nice. Good morning, everyone. If it's a little bit brighter than it usually is when I say good morning, that's because I'm off to a little bit of a later start. It's going to be a shorter mileage day because of the distance between shelters, but it's a lovely day, cool and crisp, perfect weather for hiking. It's going to be like this for a couple of days, so I'm going to enjoy it while I can. Once again, don't know what views there are going to be today. Hopefully some nice ones. And we'll see what happens. A new day begins. What a beautiful day to hike. So I had a second breakfast, perhaps early lunch, first lunch, at this Wayside, Big Meadows. There are several Waysides throughout Shenandoah, and number one, it's a good way to supplement the food that you have in your food bag, but also it's nice to get something that's real food. So I had biscuits and gravy, and I had this fruit bowl with granola, which was, really quite good, and not something that you normally will get on the trail. But now it's time to get back on the trail. Yes, it's a deer in a cemetery. It's interesting. I believe that there's no hunting while it is Shenandoah National Forest. So many of the deer that I have encountered have shown no fear whatsoever of humans. They haven't just bolted away. And that one walked right towards me as if it were as curious about me as I was about it. Hope the bears don't feel the same way. I realized that I did not do a video to close out yesterday. What happened was I got to the shelter And I had a choice between two shelters, one that was a little over 10 miles away and another one that was going to be over 20 miles away. When I got to the first shelter, it was simply too early. And it was such a great day for hiking. So what I did was I checked the Far Out app, and I saw about 5 miles or so up the trail, there was what we call a stealth site. That's a term that's generally used on the AT. You're not really hiding, but it's just not an official site. And it said that it was big enough for 1 or 2 tents. So I hiked on, and I got to this spot. And I actually meant to show it last night with my tent set up. But as you can see, I'm all broken down, getting ready to hike again. But this is where I hiked. The trail is just, through those trees a little bit. And that not only made for a 16.2 mile day, I think it was yesterday, which was a very good hiking day, but also cuts down today to, the 15-mile range, which is what I'm really comfortable with. So it was a good decision to set up here. There was no rain forecast. I do like to be in a shelter if it's going to rain, but good hiking day yesterday. Good morning, everyone. I'm away from the stealth site, back on the trail. And because I put in the extra miles yesterday, today's going to be something like a 15-mile day. Forecast is good, no rain today, so it should be good hiking weather. And a new day begins. The view from High Top Mountain. More apples, yay! I picked a few to eat as I hike. These are small but tasty. I am surprised that this area has not been picked over yet by hikers, whether day hikers, section hikers, through hikers, you name it. I can only take so many, but man, this is the mother lode. Hard to believe there's only 900 miles to go. I'm about a half a mile from the shelter. Today was a good hiking day. Very moderate temperature, very pleasant. The usual Shenandoah terrain. You've got some climbs, but they're gradual climbs. Doesn't make them any easier for me, but nonetheless, better than steep boulder scrambles. Found some apples, which I always like. Had a couple of views. So it was a nice day of hiking. I don't know whether there will be anyone at the shelter. The thing about being a solo hiker is, frankly, a lot of solitude. There aren't as many southbounders as there are for northbounders. But we'll see. I've been pleasantly surprised. It's been about 50-50. Nights where I've been the only person in the shelter versus nights where there was at least one other person. So anyway, that's it for today. Unless there's something interesting in the shelter to show you. And if not, I'll see you tomorrow. Good morning, everybody. Today, I'm either going to go about 16 miles or 19 miles. The reason is the first shelter is about 13 miles up, and that's not enough miles. The second one is 26 miles up. That's too many miles for me. So the 16 and the 19, approximately, those are stealth sites. I'll see how I feel when I get to the 16. If I still feel like walking 3 more miles, I'll do it. Interesting thing happened last night at the shelter. Lady pitcher, a flip-flop hiker who I met on the north part of the hike, came walking into camp. So that was kind of cool. I hadn't seen her since Katahdin. She actually summited the day after I did. But we and several other hikers have been hiking, in the same general vicinity for a couple of weeks prior to summiting. So it was nice to see her again. Whether we'll be hiking in the same general vicinity going forward all depends upon, you can tell I'm going uphill, all depends on, how far of each of us decides to hike on a given day. Whether anyone's going to take a 0, which I am on Saturday, but we'll see. Still, it was very pleasant seeing her again. That's how it is on the trail. People come in and out of your lives for brief moments, but it's still quite nice. And so, on that pleasant note, a new day begins. I just started hiking a little over a half hour ago, and this is the first view of the morning. Look at the low lying clouds off in the distance. Anyone below that would think it's a overcast day. When it burns off, they'll have a lovely day. This is the Doyles River overlook of the Doyles River Valley. I haven't seen a jumble of boulders like this since New England. But there's a clear and easy path through it. Hello everybody. I am at a so-called stealth campsite, which means it's not a regular shelter or what have you. Did 18.9 miles today. So instead of doing, there were two possibilities for stealth sites. One was 3 miles from a shelter. One was 5.8 miles from a shelter. Went with the second one. So that gets me a little closer to Waynesboro tomorrow, where I'm going to take a 0. So that's it for today, and I will see you tomorrow. Good morning, everybody. I'm leaving the Shenandoahs today. Kind of sorry. I mean, it's been a beautiful section of trail. Now, there haven't always been views, but some of the views were pretty spectacular. Not New England spectacular, but still pretty darn good. And the hiking itself has been fairly easy. Yes, there have been ups and downs, but nothing by way of technical climb, technical descent. Pretty easy hiking. So it's been an enjoyable stretch of trail. But I am going into Waynesboro today at the end of the day, about 15 miles, for a 0 tomorrow, and I am looking forward to that. So, a new day begins. This is a pullout from Skyline Drive. The trail crosses over it, but this is the view. Quite lovely. This marks the top of Calf Mountain, just shy of 3,000 feet. And no views. I did not expect to be walking through a meadow. Oh, this is the summit of Little Calf Mountain. Who knew? People have obviously done some stealth camping there. Very nice. Actually, more of a view from Little Calf Mountain than Calf Mountain. Very nice. I'm going to miss the apple trees of the Shenandoahs. It's fun stumbling upon them and picking a few apples. Good morning, everybody. I am zeroing at Stanimals, a well-known hostel. And, well, today I'm going to do the normal things that I do when I do a 0. Planning out the week ahead. I did most of my resupply yesterday. Going to take a look at possibly getting a couple other things. But back on the trail tomorrow. And I'll actually be hiking an area that I have hiked before several times. It's the Three Ridges section of the AT. And that has always been my go-to area to do an overnight hike. Usually when I was on Easter break. So it'll be interesting to hike that as part of a through hike. But though there won't be a lot of action today, a new day begins. Hello everybody. Well, today was a good day. I planned out the next week, did some resupply, and looking forward to hitting the trail tomorrow. So that closes out this week, and tomorrow begins a brand new week. See you then.